working on my video diary. I'm gonna put that up soon.
Director A.J. Hadley.
My gateway into filmmaking was a mini DV camera. My first purchase, a Panasonic GS120. It was a different time. The image quality was lower, and getting from capture to final product was a process, which makes me especially grateful to be making content in today's day and age with technology. But recently on a trip home, I found a whole box of my old mini DV tapes. And immediately, I was curious and a little nervous. These tapes would probably have everything on them. Family moments, cringeworthy sketches, and some of my earliest attempts at filmmaking. And they'd just been sitting there, out in the open and fading away. So I did what any rational person would do. I spent way too much money on an old camcorder on eBay, very similar to the one that I used to own. And then I bought a random looking device that said it could transfer video straight to an SD card. And today we're going to talk through giving this old footage a new life. Now, the plan was to go through and pre-select a tape to use for an example in this video, but I was too lazy and or maybe forgot to do so. So we're going to play a little Russian roulette of tapes. Hopefully there's nothing too crazy because let's just say back then was a little different time, but we'll use one of these three. I think we're going to use this one, but let's break down what we have. This is the Panasonic PVGS120. I bought this off of Amazon, I think, in a search to have a bunch of various cables. But for me, what I realized for this camera specifically, I need to use a combination of the audio AV cables and a S-video cable for audio and video. Of course, this camcorder is over 20 years old, so the battery didn't work. So I had to get new batteries and a charger. And then the cornerstone of all of this is going to be the ClearClick video to digital converter. This is the 3rd generation. So that is this. Now, do I really trust all this to work? Absolutely not. But am I going to still try it? 1000%. Okay, so as far as the ClearClick digital recorder, I believe this is partially some type of metal, or it may just be some polycarbonate. Either way, it feels, for what it is, fairly sturdy. Doesn't feel very dense, which is fine. One thing that I do like about this is that it has an internal battery into it. Of course, it comes with a brick and a cable, but I believe it should be charged to 100%. While that loads up, let me throw one of these on here. See if there's a tape in here. Nope. So let's just roll the dice. Put this one in here. But if this is your first time using this, as you just saw, you would use this power button right here to power on. You maybe want to go through some of the necessary settings. This is not touchscreen, but the menu is still pretty easy to get through. You set your language if you needed to, your system, date, and time settings. There's an ability to add a time watermark if you want. I have signal loss detection. Another thing that we'll talk about in a minute is auto stop recording. You have a few options, or maybe 2 options for video size recording. Well, actually, you just have the 640 by 480 or auto detection. Then you'll have the option to select your video source. Your options are just going to be your S-video or AV cables. Your S-video will go here, and your AV are right there. As you can see, this is fairly responsive. Then the next option is going to be, do you want to record audio? Let's look at the options. Audio only or audio and video. Of course, for me, I got this for audio and video, so that will be there. Audio type, you have an option between MP3 and WAV. And then I think lastly, or second to last, is going to be your default storage device. For me, I have a micro SD card, which is right there. I've actually never used this one, but you have scheduled recording. You have the option for daily, once, weekly, and I've just left this one off. Auto hide playback on screen display. I definitely turned that off. And then restore factory settings, formatting, and then you have firmware upgrade. I have not been able to upgrade this or find out a way to upgrade it, but it seems to be working fine, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. But now time to focus on transferring the footage. So the first thing you would do is you're going to power up your recording device. From there, I would insert the proper cables, which would then be these 2 audio-visual cables, and then the S-video. And then for this camera specifically, my S-video port is going to be here, going this way. And then for my audio, I have my AV in and out slash headphone port. I'll put that there. And you can see right there, just picked up the audio. Let me open this. I should power this on. Switch this to playback. My controls for my camcorder are actually going to be right here. I'm a little nervous because I don't know what's on this, but I don't think this should get me canceled. Then, depending on the video, you're going to need to confirm the proper playback position, which typically you would just rewind to the beginning of the tape. From there, you would just hit the record button on your ClearClick. It is recording, but the recording is paused until we receive playback from the device. I would hit play on this. All right, we're gonna, oh wow. I don't know if I should be showing this one actually. Let's find another one. Then as you can see, the recorder is going to record back in real time. That is one thing about this. There is no way to speed up the transfer of the footage. You do have to let the video that you are recording play back in its entirety. Now, the good thing about that is this has a very cool feature, which we will jump into in just a second. So while this is doing some of the recording, let's talk about some of the features that this has. Unfortunately, like I said, this is not a touchscreen, but the interface and the buttons are going to be fairly responsive. Once again, it does have an internal battery. You've seen in maybe the 5 minutes, this has dropped from 98% to 96%. We will see how it continues to drop while I leave this on and record this video. Once again, you can use a micro SD or a USB-A type thumb drive. It also has an HDMI out if you want to run this to a larger screen to view your recording while you are recording it. Once again, we talked about the multiple input options, whether you have your AV or your S video. Actually, let me switch this tape out just in case. Hit OK. Then we will go back out of the menu, hit record again, hit playback. I don't know what this is. Either this is something I recorded for somebody or something that my family used my camera for. But let's say this was something I was doing for a client or for a family member. The good thing about the auto recording stop feature is if you know exactly how long your video recording is, you can set it for that and then walk away and then know that you're not wasting any space. But you do need to know how long your recording is, because if, for instance, it is 45 minutes, you set it for 60, you're just going to have 15 minutes of wasted recording time. Conversely, if the tape is 70 minutes long and it's set for 60, then you're going to miss the last 10 minutes of your recording. But it is a nice feature if you actually know how long your recording is going to be before you actually set it to record. We will stop the recording. I will stop playback and I will then power this down, unplug this. And then we can just take a look at this here. And the wild thing about this is it actually is very, very simple to use and it works pretty damn well. We can then hit the mode button. This is for photos, so you can see right here. Then we want to go to playback. Now, I was able to transfer the footage. The weird thing is it kind of worked rather easily. The catch is going to be that this is going to only give you the quality of the original footage you had. So keep in mind, this footage is coming from a mini DV tape. In the day and age of 4K, it is going to be a little blurry. It's going to be grainy. But I think that older look to it is kind of part of the appeal of what people are doing nowadays. And it kind of adds to the nostalgia vibes that a lot of us are looking for, especially when we're going out to buy these type of cameras right now. To keep in mind that this is $200 and all you need is a mini SD card or a USB-A thumb drive, and you can back up a lot of your memories. And I think for less than $200, this is a pretty interesting and niche investment. Also, what I've been seeing, there's smaller devices that are capable of this as well. But what I've seen a lot of people do is they will actually, instead of using tapes, they will just use this on their camcorder. They will record digitally today to bypass needing to even use the analog portion of the tapes. So that's another thing you could do. Maybe we'll get into that one day. I'm sure I could just mount this on here somehow. But we've officially rescued some of my old footage. Step one is complete. It doesn't look too bad. Now the question is, can we make it look better? I'll tell you what though, we're not going to find out in this video. Maybe in another video, I'll do some comparisons on upscaling between maybe DaVinci Resolve and Topaz Video. Let me know if you guys want to see something like that in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts or suggestions or anything that I missed that you want me to talk about in any of these things, whether it is the camera, the recorder, or any of the peripherals. And I will see you all in the next video.